Hello everyone, good evening. I am Purnima from Fertility Dose. And today we have Dr. Nisha Bhatnagar with us. She is from Avya IVF and Fertility Center, Delhi. And today we are going to talk about very interesting topic that is mini IVF. So we have always listened, yes, we are going for a IVF cycle, but this is comparatively a new word, mini IVF. So welcome Dr. Nisha at the platform of Fertility Dose. And we would really love to have few words from you about yourself.
Okay. Hi Purnima. First of all, I would like to thank Fertility Dose for giving me this platform for making people enriched with the knowledge about IVF and all. I am medical director, Avaya Fertility and IVF Center. We are, when I started my fertility practice, I did my training from Maulana Azad Medical College, and we had a lot of patients there who were not financially very, they were not affording good treatments at that point of time. IVF cycle used to cost a lot, so I used to see patients there who could afford treatment with the minimal possible cost. So my idea of starting the practice was just to see that we could give this affordable treatment to all the patients. Now, Purnima, a very interesting fact. IVF, the first IVF done, the first baby born with IVF was a natural cycle IVF. That means that the
Wow.
egg formed naturally. They did the pickup, they formed the embryo, and then they transferred. So we got pregnancy with
Okay.
one single IVF, one single egg. Okay. So in mini IVF, we just utilize this fact only. Actually, if you think about it, you just need one good egg, one good sperm, and one good embryo for the patient to become pregnant. In the
Right.
beginning, when the labs were not very good, we have now evolved a lot. We have learned many new techniques. On during the process of time, we have improvised our techniques. We have improvised our labs. We have improvised our medias. So there are many things which we have gained a lot of. Success rate has changed a lot over past few years.
Right.
Now we have much more hold about what goes inside the lab. So for a patient who's like 23, 24-year old, or maybe say 25, 26-year old, or on the other hand of spectrum where there is only one or two eggs available, patient has very poor ovarian reserve. You don't need to give them injections worth some 60, 70,000 to pack them with hormones and then try to take the eggs and form embryos. In mini IVF, what we do is that we try to utilize either natural cycle or give patients very low doses of medicine and injection so that we get one or two good eggs and then we form the embryos and transfer.
Okay.
I'll talk about it in
So,
detail.
right. So, exactly in this mini IVF, there will be no extra stimulation.
Yes, the extra, like for example, let's talk about the evolution, how this thing happened.
Right.
when
Hmm.
we when we there were initially, when we started IVF cycles, just a second, sorry.
And
Initially, when we started the IVF cycles, we had uh, two eggs, three eggs retrieved, and then there was sometimes one embryo only. If you transfer that embryo and there is no result, the patient was standing at zero. So at that point of time, everyone thought that if we give more hormones, more injections to the patient, and we try to get more eggs out of the patient, we have more embryos left with us. Okay, if we have
right.
more embryos, obviously patient stands a more chance of pregnancy. But the spectrum has changed over a period of time. Now, because of the improvised techniques, because of the improvised techniques, now we, even with two or three eggs, we are able to give you a good number of embryos and then plan a transfer. Initially, normally every female has somewhere around 7 8 eggs in the ovary on the second day of period. If we don't do anything, if we don't give any injection, she'll form one egg on her own. If we give her some
Okay.
minimal dose of medicine or injection, or we give her some clomid or something, some tablet, we will have some 2 3 eggs which will be good. we can pick those 2-3 eggs, and then with those only we can plan a transfer. We don't need to give her injections worth 50, 60, 70,000, and still with low ovarian reserve, sometimes we get, after giving 70,000 worth of injection, still we get only 2 to 3 eggs. Okay, so for
Right,
these
right.
patients, instead of, for example, if she has a tubal factor, normally if the tubes are blocked, she will not be able to conceive, and patients don't need 12-15 embryos to be kept frozen. She just needs 2 or 3 good embryos. So we give minimal dose of medicine injection. The cost to the patient is very less. Still, we are able to get good number of embryos, and the success rate is almost similar. That is
Okay.
what we
But
do in
ma'am,
mini IVF.
mini IVF. But would you suggest that mini IVF is particularly for any age bracket? Like,
Yes. Yeah, this is very good, Purnima. That's a very good question. Because mini IVF, usually, again, the dictum stands that the better number of eggs, the better number of embryos we have, the patient do have a good chance of pregnancy. So mini IVF is particularly useful for two group of patients. One, where they are very young, the young age group, where there is suppose
okay.
a tubal factor, or she has a male factor infertility. She has undergone, like, severe oligoasthenospermia. Now we are seeing a lot of male factor infertility. The count is low, the motility is low. In these patients, where the reserve is good, ovaries are very good, and you know that with 2 or 3 embryos also she can get pregnant. So in younger age group with tubal factor infertility, mini IVF is the best possible option. On the other hand of the spectrum, patients with low ovarian reserve, where their reserve is very, very less, you know that you have only 2-3 eggs left in the ovary. In these patients, there is no point in giving them very high doses of medicine and injection. So in these patients also, mini IVF can do wonders. Okay, and then there is a
So,
third subgroup of patients
hmm,
who are afraid of injections. Patient know that she has to go for IVF, but because of the fear of injection, she is not going for IVF. In those patients, we can decrease the dose of injection, or we can give tablets only. That serves the purpose of mini IVF, and her fear is removed. So these three subgroup of patients, mini IVF is best.
but what about 36, 37 age bracket of patients? Is it viable for them to opt for this mini IVF?
So there was a different if a 36-37-year-old age, the problem is sometimes aneuploidy of the embryos. Like, you get, if you give them very high dose of medicine injection, you get the embryos, but there are higher chances of having aneuploid embryos. So in third,
Right.
see, you can't just make it a dictum, but you have to do the testing. You have to do the basal test. You have to do the day 2 antral follicle scan. If on the day 2 scan we see the reserve is little bit on the lower side, and the patient is very obese, or for example, if she's PCOS, then mini IVF is of no good use. Then we have to
Hmm.
go for a proper stimulation for her. If she has low ovarian reserve, then mini IVF can be a good option for her.
Okay. So
It
for
basically depends
PCOS,
upon the patient type. First of all, the
okay.
AMH of the patient, day 2 scan of the patient, the reason of infertility of the patient. These
Okay.
according to that you choose whether it is mini IVF or a proper stimulation. For example, in polycystic ovaries, you would need a little high, little, with combination of medicine and injection. You know that she will need some injections for her. So maybe mini IVF is not that for her.
Okay. So for we can categorize the patients according to their body types. So ma'am,
Yes,
what will be the
according to the
exact
body
cause?
types, and according, sorry, according to the body types and according to the reason of infertility. Okay,
Right. Yes.
according to the reason
Hmm.
of infertility. Yes, the cause of infertility.
Cause of. And what is the cost for this mini IVF?
So Purnima, that's the best advantage of this, because see, cost of IVF is basically comprising of three parts. One is the basic
Hmm.
cost, which is the cost of all pickup, ICSI, embryo formation, and all, and another is the freezing cost. somehow the basic cost is there, and the freezing cost, we want the patient to have more for the further transfer we want the embryos to be frozen. So these costs are always going to remain there. What is variable is the cost of medicine and injections. So if
Right.
we are giving low doses of injections, if we are using less medicine and injection, the cost is the biggest benefit to the patient. Here in Avia, we are able to give even one affordable cycle even in 75,000 with all injections and
Okay.
everything. That is what mini IVF does. It reduces the cost of injection and medicine to the patient so that you are able to afford a cycle. The idea behind mini IVF initially was to reduce the cost only, to make it approachable, to make
Okay.
it affordable for everyone.
Hmm. So
The
here
cost
we
is very
have
reasonable.
few cost is we can say that up to the bracket of 1 lakh mini IVF
Yes,
can be done.
yes, yes, yes.
So ma'am, we have here queries. Unexplained infertility with low AMH, mini IVF will be used. Is it possible?
So I would like to know what is the age of the patient here. Can they just give
Okay.
me the age of the patient?
She has not mentioned. Maybe we are here. I don't want to name the patient. Please, could you mention your age so that doctor can help you properly, and we can take another query after that. So, ma'am,
Yeah,
age
do
also matters in this. Mini
yes,
IVF,
age matters in this.
age matters. Okay.
Age matters,
So,
yes.
age matters.
Purnima, for
So,
example, if we talk
hmm,
about this patient, they said that it is unexplained infertility with low AMH.
hmm,
First of
hmm,
all,
hmm,
when you have low AMH, it is poor ovarian reserve. That means the reserve is less
right.
for the patient. So it
Hmm,
doesn't become unexplained infertility. That means the reason of infertility is there. Poor ovarian reserve is the
there.
reason of infertility. So it is not
Right.
unexplained infertility. Now, in this
Hmm,
patient,
hmm.
suppose we say that this patient has she is in a 26-27 year age group, okay, younger age group, 27-28
Ma'am,
year.
she is
Okay,
33
she is
years old.
33. Yeah. So if she is 33-year-old, if the AMH is low, then definitely we can help her with mini IVF. We can just give her some tablets only with very low dose of medicine and injection. And if we get a good embryo, she stands a good chance of pregnancy. So yes, it
Okay.
can be of use to her.
So, you can connect with us for further teleconsultation or to
Yes,
visit the
they
doctor
can
for,
directly talk to me and I will explain.
right,
I would like
right.
to
So
see the
that you can,
reports, like the semen
hmm,
analysis and other things. What is the BMI of the patient? What is the scan, day to
okay.
scan? How many follicles are there on day to scan? All these things I would
Hmm, hmm.
like to see.
Okay. So, please connect with us and we'll connect you with the doctor. And we would suggest you to, yes, your age and your low AMH, you can opt this option for mini IVF. So, ma'am, regarding this mini IVF, we have one more query that after embryo transfer, will the injections still continue?
Okay. So the idea of mini IVF is to reduce the cost of medicine and injection. If I have, if in see again, it varies from patient to patient. But if we want to do a injection free IVF, this means that after transfer also we will not give any medicine or injection. Okay. What happens
Okay.
is in mini IVF, usually we are using a combination of medicine and injections. In that case, we form the embryos and we freeze them. If everything else is good, I will plan a
Hmm.
transfer next cycle in which I will do a natural cycle transfer. Natural cycle transfer means that I will not be needing any injections for the transfer. We will just form the egg. This egg will supply all the hormones for preparation of the endometrium, as well as after embryo transfer, it will supply progesterone as well. So we will not be giving any medicine or injections after the transfer of embryo also. Okay.
Okay.
So it will be
Okay.
totally after the transfer, there will be no injections. If we do a natural cycle transfer for her, this means that if we are planning to do a inject in I transfer without any injections, It is possible. There will be no injections after the transfer. Okay.
But ma'am, like after embryo transfer, there's usually progesterone going on for 15 days, 14 or 15 days. So
So Purnima, this
how
is
could we
latest concept. Yeah, I am telling
Okay.
you. So
Hanji.
progesterone is given by 3 routes. One is oral, one is vaginal tablets, third is injection. These are artificial modes of giving progesterone. There is one more mode which is natural mode of progesterone. That means
Okay.
the body itself is producing the progesterone. Okay. So we will plan a transfer in a way that body itself is producing the progesterone. Okay. Like I'll try to explain it to you.
Okay.
See, what happens is in a normal cycle, what happens in a normal cycle, एक पेशेंट का एग बनता है, वो एग रप्चर हो जाता है, then it gets fertilized, and the remaining shell of the egg that secretes the progesterone. Okay.
Right.
So if a patient is if a patient is having regular cycle, we have the embryo frozen with us, but we can utilize this phenomena. From day 2 of the cycle, we'll give her something so that her egg is forming. This egg will rupture, but we are not doing any fertilization or anything with this egg. But we are using the hormones of this egg. So this egg will supply the estrogen, which will act on the lining. It will prepare the lining. And once this egg is ruptured, this will supply the progesterone as well. Okay. So we will not need any injections from outside. We will just give vaginal tablets. This progesterone will be utilized, and natural cycle transfer has higher chances of success, because whenever you are giving progesterone from outside, it is variable. Like the absorption sometimes happens, sometimes it is low, sometimes it is more. But if it is produced by the body itself from natural egg, then this has a higher chances of success, because this is a constant supply of progesterone. There is no disturbance in the progesterone level. It is always maintained in the body. Okay.
Right.
So if we do, but there is only one thing, whether the patient is fit for this or not, that we need to see. There are some patients in which natural cycle transfer is not possible. For example, in PCOS patients, in polycystic ovaries, you cannot plan for a natural cycle transfer with them, because they have hormonal disturbances. On the other hand, if a patient has poor ovarian reserve, or if a patient has no ovarian reserve, it is a premature ovarian failure, then we cannot plan a natural cycle transfer for them. For these cases, we have to give artificial progesterone.
Okay, so that means few set of patients we can plan mini IVF, and after transfer also we don't need particular set of injections. So it's really very interesting, Dr. Bhatnagar. Seriously, I myself read few things about mini IVF, but the fact you told us and the way you explained that, really very interesting. And I could say that many of our members would certainly seek your help regarding this mini IVF.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Most welcome.
So I have one query with me.
Yes.
Can a woman of age 40 should do IVF? Low AMH, low
Purnima, your connection is little bad. I can't hear you. Can you repeat the question?
Okay. So, is it fine?
Can you please repeat the question?
Anji, sure. This is an anonymous query. Can a woman of age 40 should do IVF, low AMH, low AFC with high dosage or low dosage? She produces 1 egg or 2 egg. Conceived once IUI with 150 IUI injections. So could it be possible for her case to go for mini IVF?
Purnima, I'm sorry I missed the first part of your question. Can you please repeat the question, or you can share it on screen so that I can read?
Okay, no, it's actually in my WhatsApp, so I have to read it.
Please read it out. Please read it out.
So, woman of age 40, can she do mini IVF? She has low AMH, low AFC. With high
Okay.
dosage or low dosage, she produces one or two eggs. She
So that was
conceived.
the whole point. Yes, that was
Okay.
the whole point I am talking about. So if she has to, if you are giving very high doses of injection, you are spending somewhere 50, 60,000 of rupees, still she is producing one or two eggs. So instead of that, if we just use some tablets or a combination of tablets for her, we will get those same one or two eggs. So I think that she is a very good candidate for going for mini IVF. But the problem here is, Purnima, not conceiving. She conceived earlier. With
Hmm.
IUI also she conceived. The problem here is
Right.
the age. She is 40 years of age, so probably the
Hmm.
quality of egg or the embryo is not very good. That's why she had a missed abortion earlier also. So maybe
Okay.
what if she has low AFC or something, instead of giving high dose of stimulation, maybe she forms a better egg with low dose of medicine, low dose of
Hmm.
tablets only, and then plan a
Hmm.
transfer in the next cycle. So she stands a very good chance of conceiving with this.
Ma'am, she here again mentioned that she miscarried in fifth month due to APLA.
Oh, so was she on any for any ecosprin or heparin, anything she was taking?
I
Any
don't think
medicine
so
she was
because
taking?
I don't have that
Then
query.
then she stands a good chance. She stands a good chance.
So
And when
what
was this?
I'll
How
do,
long
I'll
back?
just, Hanji, I'll just connect her
But
with
how
you
long back
directly.
this miscarriage happened? Okay, okay,
No, she has not mentioned this also.
okay. Maybe we can talk to her later in details.
Hanji, right, that will be much better. So because she has
Yeah.
mentioned this much only. This is really interesting about low AMH, age factor, and yes, after transfer injectables. So, ma'am, we have many queries. Someone is asking about the cost, and as we told, it will be less than 1 lakh. The bracket should be there.
Less than 1 lakh. Yes.
Right.
See,
So,
Purnima,
honey,
I have done with a natural cycle transfer. In a natural cycle transfer, we just formed a patient. She was very young, 26-year-old. They were
hmm,
from some low worker class. So she had tubal factor infertility. The tubes were blocked. Rest all was fine. So we just formed a natural egg for her without giving any medicine or injection. We just picked that one egg. We formed a blastocyst and transferred. You won't believe she was pregnant. The total cost of treatment to her was only 50,000 rupees. Only 50,000. And she has a good healthy child because we didn't give any injections. We just did a
right.
natural cycle transfer for her. We just did a natural cycle pickup for her.
But, ma'am, one thing here, if we are going for mini IVF, so do we have a restriction that how many cycles should we go for this mini IVF?
Uh, this is like, in conventional IVF, we are using high doses of medicine and injection. So, on the other hand, if you are going for a low dose or you are going for a natural cycle, there is no restriction. You can try every cycle also you can try. But the only thing is
Okay.
that you need to understand what is the difference between mini IVF and the conventional IVF. Here we are getting one egg, one embryo. Okay. Here we are getting many eggs and many embryos. This is the basic
Right.
difference. So the success rate per pickup in mini IVF would be less because sometimes that one egg might not form a good embryo. Okay. But
Right.
here in case, because we have many eggs, we can select the best embryo. So the cumulative pregnancy rate is good. Success rate per transfer in mini IVF is very high, but not per pickup.
Okay.
Okay. If I
Perfect.
have good
Right.
embryo, yeah, this is the difference.
Mhm.
Why we say that we need more eggs? Because we have more embryos then.
Right, right. So, ma'am, the case we are discussing that of 40 plus lady, so she said
Mm-hmm.
yes, she was on heparin and aspirin.
Okay. So that APLA part was covered then. Did they do
Right.
the genetic testing of the baby? The products which were expelled? Any kind of
Yes.
genetic testing was done on the babies?
Right.
And it was
They
normal?
done. That was normal.
Okay. Okay, then great.
So,
Then maybe
so what we'll do,
what
I'll
dose
just
of
connect her with you. I'll just connect directly with you so that she
okay.
can ask any queries, and we'll just take on the
Yes.
few other
Yes.
questions over here.
Yes. Yes.
So next we have I'm Anshu, age 39 with blocked tubes. AMH is 5.36, indicates PCOD. Can I go for mini IVF? What would be the success rate in my case and its cost?
Okay. So first of all, Anshu, you had 39 and AMH is 5.36. I need to see exactly what units of 5.36 because at 39, if you like, you are you having regular cycles? Is she having regular cycles?
Uh, no, ma'am.
Irregular
No,
cycle?
no information regarding this.
Okay. So as I said, PCOD, sometimes we need to, she can go for mini IVF, but she will need to take some medicine and injections. PCOD, if the hormones are too unbalanced, suppose you have a very high LH values, then they are not an
Mm-hmm.
ideal candidate for mini IVF. We need to give
Mini
her
IVF.
some injections to overcome that problem. So cost in her case, I would like to see this, do the scan, see how many antral follicles are there, because if she is 39 and blocked tubes, there is no other option for her other than IVF. And if cost is the major factor, the cost can definitely be reduced by giving a combination of medicine and injections.
So, ma'am, she just answered no. You asked her the
Okay, that means irregular cycles. If she is
right.
having irregular cycles, then she will need to take some injections which are like, little costly. So she will have to mini IVF it exactly not for her.
Not possible. Okay.
No, no. It is
Moreover,
possible,
since you,
but
Mhm.
it is
Okay,
possible, but it will not serve the purpose of mini IVF for her. It will be a low dose, minimal stimulation, but not mini IVF.
okay, fine. So, ma'am, for that also, the different cost factor, mini IVF
Uh,
and
See, uh, exactly. See, I'll tell you, Purnima. What happens is that there is a mini IVF is a broad term. Okay, mini IVF includes two, three types. One is natural cycle IVF. Natural cycle IVF means that you don't give many medicine or injection. One natural egg which is forming, you just pick that egg and you transfer. This is one. Second is you just give only Clomid or something, only tablets you are giving. So natural cycle IVF is very good for patients low, like younger patients with tubal blockage or something. Then we come to the Clomids thing. This is also mini IVF, where we are giving only tablets or something and we are getting 2 3 eggs. This is very good for patients with poor ovarian reserve or the 36, 37, 38, 39 age group, where the reserve is
okay,
low. We just give them tablets and we get 1 or 2 eggs. Now, mini IVF also encompasses a little low dose of medicine injection in combination with tablet. For example, in patients with who have little, like slight PCOS, not very full-fledged PCOD, polycystic ovarian disease. No, not like that. Patients where a little hormonal disturbance is there, where that you give them a combination of letrozole and Gonal-F, very low dose of medicine and injection is required, and then you can get 2 3 good embryos. In these patients also, mini IVF, it's like a broad spectrum. This is the
okay,
outer side of spectrum. After that, if a patient is having polycystic ovaries with irregular cycles, there are lot many follicles, her LH is high. For these patients, mini IVF is not possible.
not possible. Right. So, ma'am, okay. So, age is 31 and AMH is 0.7.
Okay. So how long she has been married?
No.
Can we ask her?
Yeah, she must be listening. So please, could you please provide the detail what doctor is asking for how long have you been married? Until then, we'll take. Okay,
Or is there any other reason of infertility for her? The sperm is good or not?
okay. Please, while when she is providing us with this all queries, we'll take another one. Here's one more anonymous query. That is, the lady has a fibroid in cavity, 1.5 centimeter. Is it important to remove it? Also, in case IVF is needed, mini or full IVF is required.
Okay, so first of all, if a lady is having a fibroid, 1.5 centimeter, it is important to see the position of the fibroid. If the fibroid is affecting the cavity, there are three types of fibroids. One is outside the uterine wall, another is in the muscular wall, and third, which is impinging the cavity, impinging in the cavity. So if 1.5 centimeter is a very small fibroid, usually the textbook says that any fibroid less than 5 centimeter should not be touched unless and until it is affecting the cavity. So if the fibroid is not affecting the cavity, there is no need to remove the fibroid. Now the reason, what to how to go about it, whether to go for a mini IVF or to go for a conventional IVF, that depends upon multiple factors, as I already mentioned: the age of the patient, the ovarian reserve of the patient, the reason of the infertility. All these factors will decide what is best plan for her. Just by, I think 1.5 centimeter fibroid needs not removing. Whether to go for mini IVF or conventional IVF, we can see the patient and then we can take a call on that.
Okay, so she's again mentioning that impinging. I don't know what is this.
Oh, impinging means that, like for example, I'll show you.
Hmm.
So this is the normal structure. So when we have a fibroid which is outside, it is the serosal fibroid. It doesn't affect the. This is the intramural fibroid. It is inside the muscle. Like this is the fibroid here, which is coming inside the cavity. So this
Okay,
kind of fibroid, if it is impinging, it needs to be removed. This needs to be removed.
okay. Okay. That means, yes, you need surgery for this. So first you need to remove this. So, okay, ma'am, we are taking that I think we are into this slide. So,
Yes. Yes.
uh, okay, the
How
sperm
long she has
quality
been
is
married?
good for 4 years,
Good.
and sperm
4 years.
quality is good.
Okay.
Hanji.
Okay.
And
So
sperm is
they
also
have
good.
tried any? Okay. So
I don't think so
first of
because
all, yes,
Hanji.
please.
No other information, ma'am, regarding this.
Okay. So Purnima, I think first of all, because we should not go only by AMH 0.7. Okay. AMH is a very variable test. If you do it from different labs at different times, you get different results. Okay. I believe at 31 years of age, every patient should be given at least one chance of trying with their own. Now, AMH 0.7 tells us that she has less number of eggs left. Okay. But less number of eggs, even one or two can be good. That's what. So she can
Right.
try mini IVF for her. That would be the best possible option for her.
Okay. She has taken 4 IUI cycle treatment, but no use. My husband's side, no problem. Age is 31.
So I understand. IUI may not be. See, for example, when you have low AMH, when we talk about reproduction, we talk about two cycles. One is the ovarian cycle and another is the uterine cycle. Okay. So in the ovarian cycle, the egg forms, ruptures, and form the corpus luteum. In the uterine cycle, the endometrium is prepared, and then implantation happens. Now with low AMH, what happens is this ovarian cycle becomes faster. Okay, that means the egg forms early, it ruptures early, and then the corpus luteum is weak. On the other hand, the uterine cycle needs a proper time. So some sort of discordance is there. Like ovarian cycle is faster and the uterine cycle is slower. Okay. So before the endometrium forms, the egg is ruptured. Once the egg is ruptured, the fertilization and implantation, even if it happens, the uterus is not ready for implantation. Okay. So in what we do is this, we do a pooled cycle in such patients. This means that we form the egg, we collect the egg, we form the embryo, and we freeze it. Once we have the embryo, we don't transfer in the same cycle. In the next cycle, we work on the uterine cycle, and then we prepare the endometrium. Once it is ready, then we plan a transfer for these patients. So we try to coordinate these two cycles, the uterine cycle and ovarian cycle. So this patient is very good candidate for a mini IVF.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So I would suggest you that you just drop a message with us and we'll certainly help you out with this. Doctor, let's take more queries. Okay, I'll take it from here. The age is 34 and AMH is 0.274.
Okay, so let me, though we are talking about mini IVF only, there is one more protocol which we specialize in, that is luteal phase stimulation. Okay, so this is like we do stimulation in the later half of the cycle. So patients with low ovarian reserve, sometimes we get a better quality in the later half of the cycle. So these patients, we need to see how many follicles are there. As I told earlier also, AMH is not the sole criteria. We need to see the age, we need to see the BMI, we need to see the follicles, how many follicles are there. And then there are various protocols which can be used. We can use a dual stimulation. Dual stimulation means that you stimulate once, collect the eggs, then you stimulate again, collect the eggs in second time. So these protocols can be adjusted according to the patient. Okay, I think she also should try at least once, instead of wasting time, she should try at least one cycle of IVF with mini dose, with low dose of gonadotropins.
Actually, ma'am, she is undergoing the cycle, and October FET was cancelled due to polyp, and then polyp was removed. And lining of the cycle on day 15 was 6 mm. So I think there's a lining issue also.
Yeah, November her problem is, and how many embryos? How many embryos she has?
3 embryos.
Okay, that's great. So she should plan a transfer for those embryos. For the lining, they can do a GCSF instillation. That means granulocyte colony stimulating factor. Or you can maybe cancel this cycle, try to form a natural cycle lining. Sometimes a natural cycle lining is better. So go for a natural cycle lining, try GCSF instillation, or you can do PRP. The latest thing for thin endometrium is we do a platelet-rich plasma infusion. We extract the blood of the patient. From there, we extract platelet-rich plasma, and then we infuse it intrauterine. That has also shown a promising result. So patient can go for that also in thin endometrium.
So in this month also, her lining is still same. That is 4.5 mm. And today is her day 15. So she is like,
so
is
she
it
needs
possible
to
work on that, right? And she said, do the medicines given for mini IVF impact AMH further?
No, it's all the other way. It's like, it has no effect. Whether high doses may affect, actually high doses also, but it's the other way around. They don't affect at all. No, they don't.
They don't affect. So I think she should better work on her lining, and as you suggested, maybe on natural transfer. natural cycle
Natural
transfer
cycle
also.
transfer. She should
So,
talk the
ma'am,
options about it. And yes,
mhm,
please.
is it possible that natural cycle transfer with frozen embryo? Like, what is the success rate for
Yes,
this?
yes,
Okay,
that is very good. So see, you are going for a embryo which is extracted in the previous cycle. So you call it a frozen embryo. Okay. Frozen embryo is the type of embryo transfer you are undergoing. But lining preparation can be natural. Okay. Lining preparation is the uterine cycle we are talking about. Here you can form one egg. This egg is not utilized for forming the embryo. This egg is utilized only for giving hormones. Okay. So you can go for a frozen embryo transfer for in a natural cycle. That is called a natural cycle transfer. Okay. The embryo is frozen. You form the egg. When the egg is ready, you give the trigger. The egg ruptures. It starts secreting progesterone. You measure the level of progesterone. When 5 days of progesterone is there, you plan that transfer inside the patient. Okay. So all the
okay,
hormones are supplied by that egg. Okay. That egg is not utilized, but the hormones secreted by that egg are utilized. Okay.
okay. So that is quite interesting also, because lot many people have to cancel their cycles because of endometrial lining. So please,
Yes.
whoever viewers, are you listening? And please take care of this thing, that if you have frozen embryo and your endometrial lining is not forming properly, you can talk to your doctors and opt for this natural cycle transfer with frozen embryo.
Yes.
So,
But you need to find
ma'am,
out the reason why the lining is not forming properly. That
not
is also
forming. Right,
important. What is
right.
the reason of thin
Hmm,
endometrium?
hmm. So we have another
Because if it
query.
is some, yeah,
Hanji,
if it is some
Hanji, please.
tuberculosis or something, if the endometrium is damaged because of tuberculosis or something, then even natural cycle, you might not be able to form a good endometrium. So you have to check the
Okay.
reason of thin endometrium.
Hmm. So next we have, I'm 26-year-old. My hubby's sperm count is low. In my 2 follicle study show empty egg. My AMH report and thyroid report is normal, and my cycle are also normal. Should I go for mini IVF? What is the success chances in my case? AMH is
How
3.8.
what did she
She's
say in two follicle monitoring? Empty egg? Empty egg means what?
empty
How
egg,
did she come to know
right?
that? How did she come to know it is empty egg?
I don't know,
Who
she
said it
has
is empty egg?
written. So
Okay.
because her
No,
AMH
I
is
want to understand.
3.8.
That is very good. That is very good. And I think she
Right.
is a ideal candidate for mini IVF because this is a male factor infertility. She is very young with very good. I just don't understand how she said that it is empty egg. We say empty egg only when we do the pickup and there is no egg retrieved in the from the fluid. Then we say it is an empty follicle. Okay, but I don't know how come she's saying it's an empty egg. I didn't understand that term, empty egg. Other than that, she is very good candidate for mini IVF.
She said that in my 2 follicle study. So she follicular study, they cannot say that it is empty egg.
No, no. You can't see say on follicular study that it is an empty egg.
Okay. So I think she need to check with her doctor again.
Some sort of miscommunication might have happened. Yes.
Okay. 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 Let me check with. Okay. So we have queries with me also. Hmm. Ma'am, what would be the possible reason for the lining, thin lining? One, you said that any infection, or is it
Tuberculosis. What
possible
is
tuberculosis, or is
what?
it possible
Yes.
that due to any medication, previous medication and all that?
No, usually thin endometrium is because of either some sort of tubercular infection or some history of DNC, some medical termination of pregnancy or something which has damaged the endometrium that leads to thin endometrium. Previous history of any abortion, usually most of the patients have any infection, tuberculosis, or any history of previous abortion. These are prime reasons of thin endometrium.
Okay.
In case of polycystic ovaries also, if there is too much of hormonal imbalance, if the LH is very high, in these patients also sometimes we see thin endometrium, but that can be
Okay.
corrected, that can be managed.
Right, right. So, okay. And here we have one more. What is the cause of empty follicle in IVF?
So empty follicle is a very vague term. First of all, you cannot say empty follicle in IUI or timed intercourse. We say empty follicle when we give the trigger to the patient and we aspirate the fluid and there is no egg seen in the aspirate. Okay, then we say that it is empty follicle. Most of the times the reason for empty follicle is iatrogenic. Iatrogenic means either the patient has not taken the trigger properly, or she has missed the time of the trigger, or in certain cases when
Okay.
we are using agonist trigger, sometimes the trigger doesn't act on the patient. Okay, she doesn't have some receptor fault or something, so the agonist trigger fails to act. Okay, usually when a Fertigen or HCG trigger is used, usually it's mistiming. The patient didn't understand the time properly. She took it too early or too late. So these are the iatrogenic causes of empty follicle. Now, sometimes what happens is there is a premature LH surge or some in cases of endometriosis where there's too much of inflammation inside the follicle. In these cases, you see, you retrieve, you aspirate the fluid, but there is no egg. So endometriosis is one reason where you see empty follicles are there. Then lastly, low ovarian reserve, poor ovarian reserve patients, you do see follicles, but they are just fluid filled. They don't contain any egg. In these patients also sometimes you have empty follicles. But most
Okay.
of the times it's iatrogenic. Most of the times either it is problem in the trigger, or the trigger has not acted, or there is some fault in the medicine, that the cold chain is broken, or the patient has taken it in wrong time, she doesn't remember the time. These are the things we.
I just remember that a few days back I had a call with one of our members, and उसने मुझे same यही चीज बोली कि every time she went for the scan and she got to know that she has empty follicles. So, and what you are suggesting that कि scan cannot tell you the follicle is empty or
On
not.
ultrasound, I think on ultrasound you cannot say it's an empty follicle. You can't say on
Okay,
ultrasound a empty follicle. Either they are saying it's a,
right.
I don't know what term empty follicle, you can't say on a scan. I think we can take
Okay,
opinion of radiologist also, but as far as
right,
my
right.
understanding, you can't say it's a empty follicle on a ultrasound.
Okay. Because that
Because
lady
empty
was also
follicle,
unable to understand. Hanji.
yeah, because this is something which I have, like on ultrasound you can't say, how do you say it's an empty follicle? You can't see any egg on the ultrasound. See,
Right,
there is this follicle, the egg is sticking to the wall of the follicle. Once you give the trigger, you start the inflammatory process, then you aspirate that fluid, and you can't see the egg on ultrasound. You can see the egg only when you are seeing the aspirate under microscope. So it is not
right.
possible to see a empty follicle or say a empty follicle. Maybe they are using it for something else. Maybe the term is wrong. Maybe they are using to denote something else. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Maybe they are saying it's
So,
an
ma'am,
unruptured luteinized unruptured
okay.
follicle. They are calling that as,
Mm-hmm.
like, it has luteinized. There are signs of luteinization, but it has not ruptured. Maybe that's what they are calling empty follicle.
So, is it possible that the polyp removal surgery is the reason for thin endometrial lining?
Usually, polyp removal surgery we do under hysteroscopic guidance, and we just after visualizing the polyp, we cut the base of the polyp and then we remove it. If it is done if it is done just blank DNC is done without hysteroscopic guidance or something, if the endometrium is damaged, then it can result in thin endometrium.
Okay. Otherwise, we cannot
But you
say.
need to see, no, but you need to see the case properly. We can't just, half information. On the basis of half information, we can't say that the polyp removal surgery has resulted in thin endometrium. We don't know the
Right.
prior history of the patient. We need to see what was the reason, what happened, how the surgery was performed, what was the diagnosis, what did they find during the surgery, was she having any, did they send for tubercular checkup or not. So many things need to be seen.
Okay.
Okay.
So, right. So, I think she is attending the live session, and
Okay.
please talk to your doctor regarding this thinning of endometrial lining, as it is the base. Okay. So, we are taking next query. I'm suffering from rheumatoid arthritis and AMH level is 1.02. So I should try for IUI or mini IVF or conventional IVF. My husband reports normal. My age is 33 and we are married for 7 years.
Okay. So at this point of time, her AMH level is already 1.02. Okay. Now here comes the difference between mini IVF and conventional IVF. The difference between mini IVF and conventional IVF only is the dose of gonadotropins. In her case, she is having rheumatoid arthritis. AMH is on the lower side. So if cost is not a factor, if she is not, if she financially she can afford, then she should go for a regular dose of gonadotropins to have as many eggs and as many embryos as possible, because she may need to freeze those embryos and can plan transfer next time. But if the cost is a problem, if finances is her reason and she can't afford to have a IVF cycle, then maybe she can go for a mini IVF, so that she at least she stands a chance for at least one baby. Okay.
Right.
Her In her case, the deciding factor would be cost. If she is able to afford it, go for regular IVF. But if she is not able to afford it, she may opt for mini IVF.
Okay. So here we have one more interesting query. In mini IVF, can embryo do a nay? I think that is in mini IVF. Can embryo be taken out?
I don't understand the question.
I also, so maybe there's something regarding embryo. So mini IVF, yes,
Mini
embryo.
IVF is their embryo only, no? Their egg and their
Huh,
sperm. So
right.
it is their embryo only.
So maybe she is asking this thing only. So yes, mini IVF means IVF with your own embryo.
I didn't understand this question.
I also maybe donor embryo or this thing she's trying
So
to ask.
donor embryo is totally different thing. Donor embryo is totally
Hmm.
different thing. It's not mini IVF then.
Okay, ma'am, we have like full information regarding that APLA case. So she miscarried in 5th month and she was on aspirin 75 and Lenovox 60 mg. Pregnancy was after 9 years. 3 implantation failure. I'm in late 30s. Should I do IVF? Low AMH, low AFC. With high dose, low dose, 1 or 2 eggs produced. Cycles are regular and FSH was reduced with Lupron and estrogen and birth control from 35 to 14.
What does this mean? Birth control from 35 to 14? What does she mean by? Okay, so
Mm.
I think she can go for IVF. Mini
Mm-hmm.
IVF is good for her. But in her case, I think what she needs more is to check for the endometrial receptivity, because she had 3 implantation failure, and lastly the implantation happened, but then she miscarried in the 5th month. So I think she can go for mini IVF, or she can opt for donor egg. Donor egg would be a better thing for her if she
Better
has
option.
this thing. Yeah. But I just don't understand the part where birth control from 35 to 14. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Uh, I maybe she'll explain in next message.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, let me remove this. So, ma'am, just tell us few more
Punima, your
options.
voice
Like,
is cracking.
I'll
Can you hear
just.
me?
So, is it fine now?
Yeah, it is
I
fine
think
now.
there's
Yes.
okay. There's some huge network issues at my side. I'll just remove this. Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, one very important thing regarding this mini IVF. So, as you suggested that PCOS and PCOD, they should not conventionally opt for this. So, what about the other cases? We have fibroids, we have endometriosis, endometrial cyst, and all that. So, such patients are eligible for this?
So fibroids and all, yes, they can go for IVF, mini IVF also. In endometriosis, you have to see the eligibility of the patient. What is the AMH? How big the cyst is? What is the antral follicle count? What is the AMH level? Accordingly, we have to decide. In endometriosis, preferably, if you want to go for IVF, better is to go for an antagonist cycle with a little higher dose so that you can have as many eggs as possible.
Okay,
But again, if a financial constraint is there, we can go for low dose IVF also.
low dose IVF. So, any other important pointer you need to add in this conversation, ma'am, which will help our members?
So, see, IVF, you need to understand. People talk about success rates, people talk about, multiple things in IVF. What you need to understand, IVF is different from other types of treatment for one simple reason. No two human beings are same. Okay. If you have billion people, they have billion fingerprints. Each DNA is different. So here, even if you talk about a couple, a husband and wife, who have 4 children, their 4 children are different from each other. They are not Xerox copy. You have same sperm, you have same egg, but they all 4 are different. Okay. So in IVF, the most important concept is that we have an egg and sperm which are going to meet together and form a new genetics. A new genetic structure is formed. A new genetic, a new live organism is created. Okay. So each cycle, each egg is going to be different. Okay. So it's not about having a, you need to talk about statistics, but you need to, if you are willing to take your chances, you just need to have one good egg, one good sperm, and one good embryo. That can result in a one live baby. At the same point of time, you may have 20 eggs, 20 sperms, and 20 embryos, but still no pregnancy. Okay.
Right,
Because each cycle, each embryo is different. There are multiple factors. And most important thing, despite knowing so much, despite undergoing so many changes, so many advancements, we are still learning. Every day there are new researches coming on. Every day we come to know something new about it. Every day we are rejecting this idea. We are saying that this is not working. So you have to open, you have to be open, you have to try with a positive attitude. I would say that
right.
even if my success rate is as low as 5%, I want to try once at least. Okay? Because it's not
Hmm.
5% for you. If it works for you, it is 100% for you. Okay? So
Right.
don't get confused by all that data and everything. Just stay positive. Try to eat right. Try to take good food. Try to work on your body, because the most important reason nowadays infertility is rising is the bad habits, the bad lifestyle,
Mhm.
the bad and environmental choices we are making. So go back on what we were doing earlier, eating healthy, exercising regularly. You might not even need IVF. Okay? You might get pregnant on your own. Stay positive. Don't think. Don't take any stress. Okay? Eat healthy, exercise, stay happy. You might not even need IVF. Okay?
Right. So we at Fertility Dost also believe in this कि treat your body very nicely.
Yes. That is most
Ultimate
important.
possession. Right, right. So don't treat के खाना पीना उठना सब कुछ गलत है. So
Now,
for
just
this
stay
also,
happy.
right.
Just stay happy.
Just stay happy and connect with Dr. Nisha Bhatnagar.
And
And
with Purnima.
for right. So, if by any means I left any of your queries, so don't feel bad. You can connect with us, and we'll automatically connect you with Dr. Nisha Bhatnagar. And Dr. Bhatnagar, it's really interesting to know this new technique, to know this rather new word, because till now it was like mild IVF or very high IVF. So, mini IVF is something that people should know. And I myself believe that if you are positive, you stay positive, you think positive,
Things
then
work out.
things right, they will improve. And always be ready with your plan B. ऐसा नहीं कि ये खत्म हो गया तो
Yes.
सब कुछ खत्म हो गया.
Yes.
आगे
Yes.
बहुत कुछ
And
है.
also,
Try for another.
Purnima, we need to remember that having a child is part of life. It's not the end of life. Sometimes we are so stressed about having a child that we make the soul, like, we make it our life. And then it becomes more complicated. If you are just,
Right,
most of the times you are just happy, relaxed, then things happen on it own automatically. You can't forcefully enjoy a thing. You just have to stay
right,
happy and
right.
then things happen on its own. Okay. I am reachable at Avya Fertility. If anyone wants to have any questions or anything, they can approach Purnima or just send us a message. I'll be happy to answer all those queries. Thank you so much. Thank you, Purnima. You were such a wonderful host and you helped me a
Thank
lot in answering all the queries. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fertility Dost, for giving me a platform and for solving the problems of the patient. Thank you so much. See you. Bye. Take
thank you,
care.
ma'am. Thank you.